So if you've been feeling mentally exhausted, scattered, or like your energy is constantly being drained, I want you to know this. You're not weak, you're not failing, and you're not doing anything wrong. Your brain is tired because it's carrying too much unresolved weight. And the good news is, you don't have to carry it forever. Clarity isn't about pushing harder or doing more. It's about learning how to see more clearly, decide more intentionally, and free up the mental space that actually fuels momentum. Welcome to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, where we explore the keys to unlocking your full potential and living your best life. I'm your host, Jose Johnson. Whether you're looking to make a breakthrough, overcome a challenge, or simply live with greater clarity, joy, and purpose, you'll find the tools and inspirations you need right here. So let's start your journey towards personal mastery and growth right now. Welcome back to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, your go-to resource for practical tips, insightful research, and inspiring stories to help you unlock your full potential. I'm your host, Jose Johnson, and I'm an expert in the fields of mindfulness, mindset, and peak performance. And I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Now, in the last episode, we talked about why feeling stuck is usually a clarity problem, not a motivation problem, not a discipline problem, and not a personal failing. So today, we're going to build directly on that conversation, because once people start to realize that they're not stuck, they often start asking a different question. Why am I so tired, even when I'm not doing that much? Well, if you've ever ended a day feeling mentally drained but unable to point to why, well, this episode's for you. So let's talk about the hidden cost of mental clutter. I'm not that busy, so why am I exhausted? Now, this is something I hear all the time in coaching conversations. People say things like, I didn't even do that much today. I wasn't physically tired, but I felt wiped out. I sat at my desk all day and somehow I'm exhausted. Now, here's the key insight. Mental fatigue is not the same as physical fatigue. You don't get mentally tired from effort alone. You get mentally tired from unresolved thinking. Your brain doesn't just work when you're consciously focused. It keeps working on everything that you haven't finished, decided, or resolved. And that's where mental clutter comes in. You see, mental clutter isn't chaos. It isn't disorganization. And it isn't having a lot going on. Mental clutter is unresolved intention. It's made up of open loops, unmade decisions, competing priorities, half-finished thoughts, emotional residue from conversations, emails, and expectations, identity friction between who you are and who you think you should be. Every "I'll deal with that later" stays active in the background of your mind. You may not be consciously thinking about it, but your brain hasn't let it go. So let's talk about what's happening inside your brain. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, focus, and self-regulation, well, it has limited capacity. When too many unresolved items are competing for your attention, your brain experiences cognitive overload. Now, just think about it like this. Your brain is running background apps that you never completely closed. Each one may not use much energy on its own, but together they drain the entire system. Now, on top of that, ambiguity keeps stress hormones circulating. See, your brain would rather hear no than maybe. It prefers certainty, even uncomfortable certainty, over unresolved possibility. Now, that's why open loops feel heavier than hard decisions. And over time, this constant low-grade activation leads to mental fatigue, irritability, and reduced creativity. So how does mental clutter show up in real life? Well, mental clutter doesn't usually announce itself clearly. It shows up subtly as shorter patience, snapping at people you care about, procrastination disguised as scrolling, avoiding small decisions because everything else feels heavy, feeling behind even when you're making progress. Now, this is what I often call low-grade burnout. It's not collapse, it's not crisis, just a constant hum of pressure in the background. And here's the tricky part. Most people try to fix this with rest. Well, look, rest helps, but it doesn't remove the clutter. You can rest your body and still carry the mental weight. So why does mental clutter persist, even for smart people? Well, mental clutter sticks around because of a few common patterns, especially among high performers. One is decision avoidance. Not because people are lazy, but because they don't want to choose wrong. Another is over-responsibility. And that's the belief that I should be able to handle this. And another is identity attachment. If you see yourself as capable, reliable, or strong, you may keep saying yes long after your capacity is full. And here's an important truth. Just because you can carry it doesn't mean you should. Capability is not the same as capacity, and mental clutter often accumulates where those two get confused. So let's make this explicitly clear. Mental clutter costs you energy because your brain never fully powers down. It costs you creativity because novelty requires available bandwidth. It costs you presence because part of your attention is always somewhere else. It costs you joy because unresolved pressure dulls enjoyment. It costs you strategic thinking because urgency crowds out perspective. And it costs you your connections because preoccupation reduces attunement. Now, this is why clarity isn't a luxury. It is a performance strategy. It's a well-being strategy. It's a leadership strategy. And it's why clarity must come before strategy. Hey, let me pause for just a moment, because if this episode is hitting close to home, I want to share something with you. When I catch myself feeling mentally tired or scattered, I don't try to push harder or power through it anymore. I step back and I get clear. And that's exactly why I created the Clarity and Leverage Planning Kit. It's the same process that I'm using right now to architect my own year so that I'm not just busy, but intentional. It helps me get everything out of my head, see what actually matters, and focus my energy where it will make the biggest difference. Now, there's nothing complicated or overwhelming about it. It's designed to reduce mental clutter, not add to it. So if you want to apply what we're talking about in this episode to your own life or work, you can find the kit at josejohnson.com/clarity. All right, let's jump back in. All right, before we close, I want to walk you through a simple clearing practice that you can use anytime your mind feels full, scattered, or heavy. Now, this isn't about fixing everything. It's about giving your brain enough relief to breathe again. Now, I often remind my clients of this. Your brain isn't meant to be a storage unit. It's meant to be a processing center. When you ask it to hold too much for too long, it gets tired. So let's lighten the load. Step 1, externalize what's in your head. So first, I want you to grab a piece of paper or open a notes app and write down everything that's taking up mental space. Not just tasks, decisions, conversations, things you worried about, things you've been avoiding, things you keep telling yourself, I'll get to that later. Don't organize it. Don't judge it. Just get it out. The moment you write something down, your brain stops working as hard to remember it. That alone can create relief. Step number 2, name what each item actually is. So now go back through the list and label each item. Ask, is this a task, a decision, a conversation, a boundary, an expectation, a worry? Now, this step matters because ambiguity is exhausting. The clearer the label, the lighter the load. Step number 3, decide what does not belong to today. Now, here's the most important step, and the one people usually skip. Look at your list and ask, what truly needs my attention today and what doesn't? Most mental clutter comes from trying to treat everything as urgent. Give yourself permission to park what doesn't belong to today. Put it on a future list, assign it to a later date, or simply acknowledge this matters, but not right now. When your brain knows something has a place, it relaxes. Step 4, choose one clear focus. Finally, choose one thing, just one, that deserves your energy today. Not the biggest, not the hardest, just the most meaningful. Ask yourself, if I move this forward, what would it make easier or lighter? Now, that question alone often reveals leverage. And when you focus on one aligned action instead of 10 competing ones, momentum returns naturally. Now, here's the final reminder for you. You don't need to clear your mind completely. You just need to clear it enough. Clarity isn't about perfection. It's about reducing friction so your energy can flow again. So if you've been feeling mentally exhausted, scattered, or like your energy is constantly being drained, I want you to know this. You're not weak, you're not failing, and you're not doing anything wrong. Your brain is tired because it's carrying too much unresolved weight. And the good news is, you don't have to carry it forever. Clarity isn't about pushing harder or doing more. It's about learning how to see more clearly, decide more intentionally, and free up the mental space that actually fuels momentum. Now, that's what this clarity series is really about. And if you want to take what we're talking about here and apply it to your own life or your work, the Clarity and Leverage Planning Kit gives you a simple step-by-step process to help you clear mental clutter, identify what truly matters, and focus your energy where it will have the biggest impact. It's designed to help move you forward with intention without burning yourself out. And you can find it at josejohnson.com/clarity. And if this episode resonated with you, please consider sharing it with someone who might be feeling overwhelmed or mentally drained right now. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode in this series, because clarity isn't just a mindset, it's a practice. So until next time, remember, it is what it is, but it becomes what you make it. So make it great. Thanks for tuning in. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind you that the information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice or treatment. While the content of this podcast is based on research and personal experience, everyone's situation is unique, and the advice given may not be applicable to all. Always consult a qualified professional before making significant changes in your life. The Personal Mastery and Growth podcast is recorded at the So Good Media Studios located in the Candy Factory, a co-working space in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.